Like an endless fiery vortex, so are the games of our lives. Charizard just used Fire Spin, and these are the games of our lives.
Welcome everybody to the Games of Our Lives podcast. My name is Bill, here with Tony as always, and of course we're going to talk today about the games who made us who we are today. Tony, how you doing, brother?
Pretty good, man. Can't complain. How about you?
Hey, I am here for it, man. I am ready to talk about maybe one of the games that I've played most of all the games we're going to end up talking about ever.
Really?
Or at least one of the franchises, for sure.
For sure, yeah, franchises. Yeah. But wow, I didn't know that. Oh, it's going to be good. Oh, this is going to be real good.
Oh yeah, I got lots of thoughts. But before we jump right on into the good, why don't we talk about the news of the week? We're going to start off a little softball here. Kind of huge gaming news. This is going to affect anybody who's a gamer, really, in my opinion. So, Netflix is looking to jump into the gamerverse. They want to... So, their numbers have been kind of like slowing down a little bit. Their subscriber growth just reported its worst slowdown in 8 years.
Wow.
So I think what they're trying to do is they're going to try to hop over to gaming to really entice a whole new wave of people to come over to their product. I'm not sure like what kind of games that they would do, but I want to say like their focus is going to be mobile-ish games, I want to say. It'll be interesting because if people could use... I mean, like, I guess it's not that new of a concept because Game Pass exists with Microsoft. Are you familiar with Game Pass?
Mm-hmm. Had a good experience with it.
Yeah, I mean, I use it. For those who don't know, Game Pass is a monthly fee that you pay. It's a Microsoft product, and it gives you access to just a ton of games. If you were ever an Xbox Gold member or PlayStation Plus member, you kind of understand what the gist is because you have access to these games that are on a rotating list, and if you pay the fee, you can download and play any of them as much as you would like. And I think that's where Netflix wants to jump in. I do wonder if it's like a little too late for Netflix, given that Game Pass is already as prevalent as it is.
I think, yeah. I think it's too late for them. I'm going to keep it real short and sweet. And it's... Netflix had everything. They were just doing it so right. And I'm not really sure what happened, but they got... I don't know. They just got real bad. And I'm kind of lying when I say I don't know what happened. It just seems like they got rid of all the good stuff. You know, I feel like Netflix is the staple. It's like I go on the old smart TV, and it's just like Netflix, Hulu, YouTube. Like right now in my head, those are the top three. I open my phone, I go to YouTube. Netflix, I know, I had a feeling it was going to go downhill when they got rid of Family Guy. Like, Hulu was terrible. Hulu was just like, here, pay for this, otherwise it's bad. Like, and it's still bad. Like, you have to watch ads all the time. Netflix was just...
Oh, and I was going to say, like, what's with, like, all these streaming services having just the worst user interfaces? Like, it is... I don't want to put my face into a blender more than when I'm trying to navigate, like, Netflix or Hulu or Amazon. They're all so slow. They all, like, you gotta type one letter at a time. And I want to die. I want to die whenever I'm doing that stuff. Like, I hate scrolling through these feeds. Netflix has been particularly terrible lately. Their taste in everything has been awful.
That's what it seems like. That's what it seemed like with them for the past, like, couple years, I want to say. And they do sometimes, like, with El Camino came out, it's like, alright, that's really good. Like, Netflix has certain things. I think they have Narcos, too. I love that show. They do have good stuff on there, and I love no commercials, and I love that everyone just shares it, and it's, like, the easiest accessible thing in the world, but but just put the good shows on there. Like, just stop. We know you're lying. Like, everyone knows that, like, the top 10 is just not. It's just what you're trying to push, like, for this
Yeah, it's
week.
absolutely not what anybody's actually trying to watch.
Yeah, no
one wants to watch Sexy Beasts on Netflix, and if you do, I hope you're doing it ironically. God. I watched the trailer for that and I said, like, damn, they really did run out of every idea in the book, huh? It's all over. You lose The Office and this is what happens.
Office is off of there? That's awful.
All the shows that were on NBC, they're gone. They went over to, well, here's the thing. Every single TV company now is like, we got to have our own streaming service.
Yeah,
Except then you got to think to yourself as a consumer, you're like, do I want to pay $200 a month in order to stay on top of all of these different streaming services and end up paying the same amount of money that cable is? It's like, no, I'm just going to steal it eventually. I won't apologize for that one. Like, kids, Uncle Bill is a pirate.
Oh, and the truth starts to unravel as we're 3 episodes in, everyone.
You think you know a guy.
But let me say this. What games are they gonna put on there? You know what I mean? Like, they don't even, like, they're a a TV show and movie streaming service that doesn't have, I don't know, a 20% ratio of, like, good to bad, like, shows and movies. Like, what games are they gonna get? Like, oh yeah, you could play Miss Pac-Man, Sonic 2, and, like, I don't know.
Hey, Bejeweled?
Maybe Bejeweled.
Maybe Minecraft? I don't know.
I think they're just too late. Netflix isn't. And just get the good shows back. That's what you're here for. That's why it has to be what you're here for, right? That's like what you tried to make as a company. Just put the good shows back and we're fine. We'll all subscribe and be happy.
Or make your original shows good shows. A lot of the times they're not. There's a few gems in there. Like you get I Think You Should Leave. Like and even that show is kind of hit or miss. But yeah, no, just bring back The Office and everyone will come back.
Yeah, and don't lie. Yeah, keep Pulp Fiction on there and Scarface and all the cool stuff, and then don't lie and say that your originals are the hottest thing of the week. It's like, no, just say, hey, this is what we made if you guys feel like checking it out. If not, here's a good list of stuff. Boom. I don't need any royalties for that. That's how Netflix fixes its crisis. If it's even a crisis, well, what are they, 2 billionaires instead of 2.5 billion? Oh, big deal.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Yeah.
F in the chat for those poor companies only making $2.7 billion instead of $2.8 billion. It's just your heart goes out to them,
Yeah, just if everyone could just keep them in your purse tonight.
Well, speaking of keeping people in their prayers, how about people who want to have a fair competitive game in Pokemon Unite?
Boom! Still working on
it. Pokemon Unite is a new game that's out on the Nintendo Switch. Just launched yesterday, I want to say, at the time of this recording. And it is I want to say it's a 5v5 multiplayer online battle area sort of thing. So think kind of like League of Legends, but with Pokemon. And, it's got all the quintessential big yikes aspects of new video games. It's got a ton of stuff hidden behind paywalls. It's got, pay to win aspects to it. It's microtransaction city, baby. But it's got Pikachu's face, so it can't be nefarious, right?
Wow. Little shade getting thrown?
I mean, maybe a little bit. Plus, I don't see Torterra here as like a main Pokemon on the roster, and that's just a dang mistake. Like, you get Rotom, but where's my boy Torterra? Come on. Edelgos? Or Eldegoss? Come on, son. Nobody cares about that piece of cotton.
Oh, wow. A lot of hate. A lot of shade. See, this is the thing. Let me take out my badges real quick and defend what I love so much. Could be great, you know. I mean, now you're talking 900 some odd Pokemon. Some just aren't gonna make it, unfortunately, in a game like this. And otherwise, every game that comes out ever is gonna have to include every Pokemon, which is just not easy for them to do, I think, especially with a game like this when you're trying to keep a roster somewhat small.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if it's small, to tell you the truth. I haven't looked at it at all yet, but I definitely don't like the micro payment and stuff. That's awful. I think Pokemon Go is an exception, but if, you know, we could talk about that. I was going to say something else about this game. I don't know. I don't know. I never knock a Pokemon game until I even downloaded Pokemon Smile, and I wanted to, I don't know, got me to brush my teeth for the first time in a couple weeks. So I was like, all right, yeah, you know, and then the game wasn't that good, so I got rid of it, and it's been a stinky month.
Well, I'm glad now that you got Pokemon Smile. You know, you got a nice shiny smile, and maybe you're not scaring people away.
Maybe.
With garlic breath, who knows? Unless you wanted that.
No, I say to myself anyway, for the most part, except for the, you know, few close ones in my life. But yeah, the garlic thing, that's like definitely keeps them away, which is really nice. That's
very good. That's very good. Just trying to see what else is going on with this Pokemon Unite. There's like a whole gacha system. So like there are some unlockables hidden behind like random pulls, which just sounds like the worst. It's basically the same concept of like in Pokemon Go, if you were to just like pay for eggs. You're like, I want to buy eggs, but you don't know what's inside of it, but you could get so and so you got to buy, like you could get a Torterra inside that egg.
Well, yeah, well, not to be a snob or anything, but you buy the incubators to hatch the eggs, and the eggs you have to get from either spinning, you know, a photo disc or receiving a gift from a friend if you're looking for a 7K. But basically you're just buying the eggs, yeah, more or less. You're buying what's inside the eggs, and most of the time, and I shouldn't say this because I've been getting insane luck in my eggs, and I don't care about eggs at all, but most of the time there's nothing in them. So save your money.
But if you have any thoughts on the game, let us know in the YouTube comments or on our Twitter, which is Twitter @GamesOfOurPod, and you can talk to Tony and I there. Speaking of Pokemon eggs, by the way, I believe there was a big Pokemon Go event happening this past week. You want to tell us about it?
Oh, it was great. Oh, it was sick. There's a huge egg, and I saw on Instagram, and it had a cool Pokemon inside, and I wanted to be there in person, but I didn't know it was actually happening. And I love Pokemon Go. I actually didn't really go out on Saturday for Go Fest, which was the basically community day, which is a day basically shiny Pokemon and Pokemon Go, which is something I care about in that game very much. The odds normally are about 1 in like 425, maybe like 1 in 450, but on community days the odds are like 1 in 24.5, and in huge events.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. They basically like give them away. You just have to play, and because of COVID and everything, they made them like 6 hours, like once a month. They announced the Pokemon is. They actually just announced Eevee is gonna be August's, and it's gonna last for 2 days, which is really cool. And how much time do we have in this podcast? I'm gonna start going off right now.
Oh, just go off, baby. Go off.
Yeah, that's it. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, basically the odds aren't that good on GoFest, but they are like good. They're like estimated to be like 1 in 50 or something like that, and they just have they'll release new shinies and just for the event that'll stay shiny after the event, but haven't been shiny prior. And it's just a bunch of Pokemon spawning, and they have it broken down into like hourly sections where it's like the first hour there's like, a tropical kind of, vibe, and those are the Pokemon spawning. And then the second hour could be like a desert kind of thing. That's what they did this year, at least. I'm not sure what the areas were, I forget, but I remember the Pokemon that were spawning during them. And they do that for 8 hours. They do 4, and then they repeat the 4, and you get as many shinies as you can. And there's a bunch of other really good stuff happening too. It's just like the best event of the year. The Kanto event was really good, and the Philadelphia Go Fest, or Safari Zone, makeup event were both really good too, to my knowledge of playing this game for the past 2 years. And then day 2 was all about raids, which was, I always feel like day 2 is not as good because the shiny rates are worse, at least for this year. And last year, like the theme behind day 2 was like fighting Team Rocket a lot, which I'm really just not a big fan of in the game. Like, it's not that cool of a mechanic, but they really, really push it sometimes. So like day 2 was kind of whack last year, and then day 2 this year was mostly about raiding, and they give you a bunch of free raid passes, like 20 or so, between remote passes. Yeah, between remote passes and regular passes. And Go Fest is normally $15. This year it was only $5 because it was their 5th anniversary. It was just like...
Wait, $5. We're at 5 years? We're at 5 years since Pokemon Go came out?
We sure are, yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, right? It's crazy. I've only been playing it for 2, but yeah, it's 5 years old, huh?
Wow, that's pretty wild. It's so funny because I think I stopped playing Pokemon Go right around the same time that you must have picked it up.
Really?
I stopped playing right around when Gen 3 Pokemon were making their rounds.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, but I was big. Like, for the first, 2 generations of Pokemon Go. And this is back when the mechanics were, so basic and Team Rocket didn't even exist and stuff like that. I remember peeling the curtain back a little bit here. Driving, the location discs are on, a 5-minute timer or something like that. 5-minute, 10-minute, where you could spin. So, in Milford, there's a green, and you could drive, and there's always traffic there, so you're always stopping. I used to go, if I were free for a little while, I would drive that loop, just spinning the discs to max out my Pokeballs and stuff like that. Because you did 5 laps, and there were probably 25 discs per lap.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and if you were going slow enough, you would hatch some eggs too.
Oh, yeah, if you keep it under 20, yeah, it counts as walking, which is crazy.
Yeah, and the speed limit's 25, so if you're going 16 miles an hour, yeah, the person behind you gets a little bit upset for going slow, but, listen, these 10Ks are not going to hatch themselves, not in this economy.
I think they did something kind of cool, because, I know you are too, but it's so easy to... Don't play the game and drive. That's definitely the worst possible thing you could do. I think one of the worst things anybody could do because you're endangering stuff. But the fact that they made the Pokemon Go Plus, it's so easy to just hold that in your hand and just click the button when it vibrates. So I think they probably if we're putting stuff everywhere and people can drive, then their little addicted minds aren't going to be able to not look at their phone, so let's give them a safer alternative.
They're there's this kid in Connecticut that's just driving around in circles, endangering random pedestrians in Milford. Let's maybe just give him a device he can go boop on instead of having him drive with his face between his legs for 40 minutes a day.
Yeah, it's crazy because the game has come so far. I think I started playing around July of 2019. It was Azelf was in raids, and I was oh, this game is really cool. I understand now. At first when it came out, I didn't like it, and now I'm oh no, it's wow, it's cool. And then the Azelf ran away from me, and I was so that was all pointless. I just did that raid, and I couldn't even catch it, and I got mad, and I stopped playing. And my girlfriend said, months later, yeah, we're going out for Mudkip Community Day, and I was like, shiny Mudkips? You get them shiny? I want. That's like my top 10 favorite Pokemon, and Swampert's top
Yeah.
10 actually too. So I started playing. I caught like 6 or 7 shiny Mudkip, and after that, it was like everyone said I got in the game at like such a good time because like the gym mechanics, like introducing different things like the rocket stuff, and the game is just like at a really good place right now, and it really is a world changing game. It's crazy how good it is. They like the battling system. I was obsessed with my. You could go on my YouTube channel right now and see like all these sets. Me trying to get on the leaderboard and just doing commentary on stuff. It's on YouTube.com/thePokeRapper. Pokemon Go is great. This weekend was fantastic. I got 32 shinies on the first day, and I got
Wow.
actually got 3 shinies and like 20 raids on day 2, and I know people that did just as many, if not way more than me, and didn't get any shinies. So I'm always, and I got a shiny Snorlax. I got 2 shiny Mewtwo's, a shiny Kyogre, and a shiny Snorlax. Mewtwo and Kyogre were so high on my list. I did like the first Mewtwo raid, I got a shiny. First Kyogre raid, I got a shiny. Then I ended up getting another.
Wow.
It was just crazy, crazy, crazy lucky. I was almost thinking
That's
about
insane.
making. Yeah, no, it's nuts. I'm almost thinking about making a YouTube video of my shiny collection just because of how ridiculously consistently lucky I've been with shinies. And then the next morning I woke up and hatched a shiny Galarian Zigzagoon, which is like my top 3 or top
Oh my
5
God.
most wants. Yeah,
Oh my
been,
God, that's
yeah.
insane.
It's yeah,
I
and I
freaking love Galarian Zigzagoon.
yeah, it's like pink instead of black. It's like it's so sick. It's either white and pink or black and pink. I think it's white pink instead of
Yeah,
black
yeah, I
and
think
white.
it's white and pink because then I think like it gets like a light blue on top of it, like in the later evolutions too, which is just sick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not black and pink. It's white and pink instead of black and white. Yeah, it's insane. It's beautiful, and I'm one of the luckiest players there is for how much time I put into the game. I really believe that.
I mean, it sounds like it. With the Go Fest, were there any like special Pokemon that were like exclusive to the Go Fest, or
Now and for the next few weeks for like the ultra bonuses that happen after Go Fest,
yeah?
Unknown is a Pokemon that they only have spawning during certain times, which I don't have shiny, and that's been on my list for a while. No matter how well I do at these events, I always an Unknown always seems to evade me. But that's the only one that comes to mind.
I'm looking at this like weird Pikachu right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who aren't aware, Pokemon Go often dresses Pikachu up in like a ton of different outfits that you could catch him in. I don't know what if it's like a punk rock outfit or like he's about to climb the Alps with that really furry hood. I can't tell what is going on. He's got eyebrows for days. But there's a wild Pikachu that Pokemon Go is pushing. I don't know if this is like just from that weekend or what, but it seems ridiculous. Did you see that thing?
Yeah, that's. I probably should have mentioned something about that, but that's how little I actually care about that. Was the theme of Pokemon Go was music. I probably should have started everything we're talking about with that. And you take a path, you either get this rock Pikachu or this like pop star Pikachu. And one is just like very rock and roll, and one of them is very like pretty princess, like with a dress, and they're both super cringy, and I don't like either one of them. But you do it, you pay your $5, and then you get a Pikachu and some other like a Flygon or a Gardevoir with a hat, and then you get either a Galarian Zigzagoon or a Galarian Ponyta with the hat. Nothing crazy, and then at the end you get a Meloetta, actually, because she's a music, mythical, and
Oh yeah.
so the theme was music, and that was cool, but I care so little about all that, honestly. I'm just like, I want shinies on day 2 as well.
Listen, if they weren't playing Route 104 theme from Pokemon Emerald, they were doing music a disservice anyway. Because that track's a freaking banger.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. But, wow. No other music can be played. Listen to that, people of Niantic.
Did you know they raised over... Or they earned, sorry, they didn't raise. This isn't a fundraiser. This is a company whose prime goal is to make money. They earned over $21 million from GoFest 21.
Wow. Yeah, I believe it.
This is one of those like mobile games that I feel like people are. It strikes a really good balance. People are willing to pay for like bonuses. These people who are paying like actually get more or less like what they're asking for. Like it's not like I feel like you're not getting screwed most of the time when you're paying for it because you know what you're buying.
Well,
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
well, the thing is, Pokemon is literally gambling, like in so many different aspects. Like every time I click on a Pokemon and want it to be shiny, that's just my scratching of the lottery ticket. That's just me getting that little dopamine rush and being like, oh, when I hit, it's really good. Like when I hit the shiny, when I hit the right, you know what I mean? Like there's just
Right.
I think when I was young, I feel so fortunate to have gotten all the Pokemon cards that I got, and now that I'm older and I see just how hard they are to find everywhere, like in that Target had to stop selling them at one point, I'm like, what is the prices online are like drastically different, so they're not doing like a killing reselling them, but like why are they so highly in demand? And they just want that rush. And you could go on websites and buy the hollows in the pack. You could buy those for less than what the pack costs. I was going I went game hunting last week, and there were cards that I was like, "There's no way that this is like a shiny full art." I'm like, "This has to be like worth more than $2 or $3 that they have it marked at," and I just like buy it, and it's only worth $3. I'm just like looking up different cards. I'm like, how is this not worth anything? So I don't know why they're just Pokemon players and parents and even like people that grew up with it and love it and just like we really have passion for it, but we're all so addicted to just gambling in some sense. And I don't like opening packs. Some people are just searching for that Charizard, that money card, but a lot of times when you pull a good card, it's still not even really worth it. Between the packs and in the shiny hunting and different things in the games, and there are legit things, and it's a beautiful game, beautiful creation, but like in Pokemon Go, yeah, it's just so easy to just gamble and buy incubators and buy stuff to get, bonuses to. It's not all gambling, but for the most part, it's just. I know a lot of people that I just hear stories about how much money certain people spend, and I just can't believe it. I'm just like, if you love it, it's your passion, go collect stamps, go play Pokemon Go, do what you love. But yeah, I don't know. I keep track of how much I've spent on it in 2 years, and it's, what some people might spend in a couple weeks, or months.
Right. I mean, there was definitely a point in time during Pokemon Go in the beginning where I probably dropped a total of $50 on the game from start to finish.
Okay.
And most of it was purchasing, because in Pokemon Go, I don't know if it's still this way, but you kind of had a hard limit on how many Pokemon you could hold.
Yep, you still do.
So I wanted more bag space for my Pokemon. Mm-hmm. So that's what I spent most of my money on, was like bag space upgrades. And then when raids first came out, I bought some extra raid passes because it was like all the rage.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that,
But like the game wasn't very complicated. Like there wasn't a lot else to the game other like the whole like thing with the game then, and I don't even think there were shiny Pokemon when I was playing it, where it was straight up just these are the Pokemon, go and catch them. And I remember like looking up like maps on where like specific spawn points were for Pokemon. I don't know if that's still a thing or if it's much more varied now.
Now it's almost seasonal, and it is varied. Yeah, the game has seen so many different times. I think like back then it was so basic, but it was just a different game. You had to go real deep and you could like go on websites of like Pokemon Tracker or something just spawned over here. Like you can't do that anymore. I don't think you can do that. I think some people spoof and can find where any Pokemon is at a moment's notice and just like get there. I think but I'm pretty sure, I don't know actually if you can or not. I would say you can't, but then I'm like, yeah, I feel like some people can, but then it'd be too broken. But now the game is just like there's so much more implemented into the game, and but they cut back on other things as well. They're finding like a good balance, I think. I think that's what I was going to say about all that. I'm kind of losing my train of thought, thinking about if people could actually do that or not.
It definitely was a big thing when the game first came out because certain Pokemon were just like so rare, and the Pokemon world was not very populated.
Yeah.
So like you had to like do a little bit of foot traffic in order to like find certain Pokemon.
Yeah.
And there were areas where there were just more better Pokemon that people would hang out. Like when the game started, it was like West Haven Beach. Tons of people went there.
They still do.
And that, like, I remember it was summer 16. Damn, it is 5 years. You're right. Summer 16. I went right at the beginning of the launch window. It was like the first or second week it came out. I went with our friend Matt, and there must have been 400 people on that boardwalk area just playing Pokemon, just walking up and down trying to like call out like these rare Pokemon finds. Like straight up someone was like, there's a Charizard over here, and like you saw a wave of people just running over. Like that was no joke. I felt so bad for the families just trying to enjoy their time at the beach.
Yeah, as a non-Pokemon player, they had it very rough. And I remember going there a couple times back then when I didn't play, and I was like, this is dumb. Like someone let me use their phone, and I was like, now what? And she's like, that's it, you caught it. And I'm just like, all right, but now what? You know, it was just like there was so little in the game, but it was so hype, and now the beach is still the best place to play in Connecticut. There's still hundreds of people that go there. Yeah, on that's where I go. Sometimes during big events, I'm just like, yeah, this is nuts. And I don't know, yeah, but the game, there's so much. I mean, now I don't know, yeah, it's just evolved so much. Like now, like there's a Charmander Community Day, so now like everyone has a shiny Charizard. I have like pages of shiny Charizards, but like back then, just getting a regular Charizard was insane. Like I've caught a wild Dragonite, back then people would like trampled each other just to get a Dragonite.
Yeah, they straight up would. They straight up would just trample somebody just for a dragon. Oh my god, that's insane. And then you know what I did? I ruined my Pokemon Go account.
Did you?
Because Pokemon Let's Go,
oh no,
Eevee and Pikachu, I transferred all of my good Pokemon to Let's Go, which was the biggest mistake I could have ever made.
Yeah, well, who would have thought, that with not being able to transfer them back is horrendous, and also that game I absolutely love those games, but then that's not a game you're going to play consistently. It's nothing like Pokemon Go, where it's like an everyday, multiple time a day game, or multiple times a day, rather, but it's, now, like, I played that game for like a week, picked it up again for a couple days, and I was like, that was fantastic. Never going to play it again. All those good Pokemon, they're trapped in there forever.
Yep. All those good Pokemon I transferred in, I was like, oh no. I may have some incredible starter Pokemon here. Oops. And also like a Melmetal, for whatever reason. They let you transfer him in.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, I still just used my Eevee from the game to sweep the whole game, so so that was useless. Good looks.
You tell me what you need, and I'll take care of you if you ever start playing again.
Ooh, maybe I will. Maybe I will start playing Pokemon Go again. We'll see. Any final words on Pokemon Go or the Go Fest 21 that you wanted to drop before we moved on?
Nope. I think I've done quite enough of the proverbial ass kissing of a mobile phone game for one episode. We're 40 minutes in. We didn't even. This is an episode about Pokemon Go. This isn't in Netflix. This isn't about what we're supposed to talk about.
Listen, sometimes the news can take you to wild places.
That's right.
But we are actually, it's good that we were talking about Pokemon Go though, because we're gonna keep the main theme of the episode intact here. We're talking this week about the Pokemon Stadium games. the Pokemon Stadium games, they are a spin-off of the Pokemon franchise. They are games that, at least when they first came out, I guess they'd be a little bit less relevant nowadays to be released. But they were the first games that really brought Pokemon from the handheld to the home console. At its time, like, it was absolutely incredible. So I think we should just start with the granddaddy of them all. And I mean, to this day, some people still call this their favorite in the franchise, and that's Pokemon Stadium. I mean, iconic, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon Stadium came out for the Nintendo 64 here in America in the year 2000, and what it did is it allowed you to play Pokemon battles in 3D. It allowed you to plug your Game Boy Color Pokemon games. So if you had Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow, you could connect it to the N64 controller via the N64 transfer pack. And you could either fight battles with your Pokemon in the game, or you could even play the game. There was an emulator built into Pokemon Stadium, and you could play Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow on the big screen, which was also absolutely insane. And the other thing that was cool about it was there were things that you could do in Pokemon Stadium that would get you special Pokemon in, I want to say, Pokemon Yellow, where you could get Surfing Pikachu.
Yeah.
Which was an exclusive Pikachu that could learn the move Surf, which at the time was like absolutely mind-blowing. This game was really cool because it gave you not only like a whole bunch of different trainer battles to fight with, but their trainer battles had much better AI than in the regular Pokemon games, in my opinion. Also had one of the most incredible things, which was the Pokemon minigame mode.
Minigames!
I feel like there's two types of people when it comes to Pokemon Stadium, and it's the people who play for the battles, and it's the people who play for the minigames. And I am firmly in the minigame camp. also called the Kids Club, I think is what it's called in the first game.
It sure is.
And the minigames, they were basically, this was a rival to Mario Party when it came to playing minigames with your friends growing up. I mean, what's your favorite minigame from the first game?
Probably the Pikachu Charge Up one. No, I'm kidding. I hate that one. That's definitely the worst one. It's just like button mash. But they're all kind of like that in a sense. It's so good. Probably the one where you're Kakuna or Metapod. I think it's called like Rock Harden or something like that. And, dude, but Sand Shoot Dig with the L and R, even though it's basically the same thing as like A and B, but like even though I think it's A and B, I don't remember how it is in the first one. So I can't express how much I love the mini games, and
the mini games are so good, right? My favorite is Sushi Go Round with Lickitung.
Oh yeah.
Just because I love trying to just like see like what kind of a high score I can get just by like stacking the same sushis over and over again.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is, so her and I have played this a few times just to play video games together, and she is absolutely insane at Dig Dig Dig, the Sandshrew minigame.
Really?
Like it's so wild. Like she'll hold the controller in this like way where she's like able to just like tap L and R in, like she just rips through it, and like she beats me every single time. Like I just do not have what it takes. But then like here I am with Lickitung. I gotta defend my honor as a gamer. So between that and I'm actually weirdly good at Clefairy Says.
I love that game.
I mean, I still sing the jingle in my head every once in a while. I mean, how could you knock it? Fairy, 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 fairy. And then get bopped on the head for being wrong 3 times.
Someone clip that and just make it your ringtone, please. Dude, this guy from my favorite podcast just sang the Clefairy song from Pokemon Stadium.
It's a banger. It's almost as good as the Jigglypuff song from the anime, but
It's debatable.
But there's one other mode, I think, in Pokemon Stadium that people absolutely love, and this is going back to actually playing the game. But it's the Gym Leader Tower, or Gym Leader Castle.
Oh, yeah.
This set of trainer battles, I think, really tested your mettle as a trainer back in the day. Way more than the games themselves actually did. Like Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, that's kid stuff. Gym Leader Castle. Now we're seeing, who can do their best, because Pokemon battles in Pokemon Stadium play a little bit differently than they do in the regular game, because you get to pick only 3 Pokemon out of your team of 6 to take into battle, and you actually get to see the other opponent's team of 6, but they're only picking 3, but you don't know which 3. So it's really a lot of chess moves going on in these battles.
A brilliant design, by the way.
And this is the first time as well that I think they had like color alterations for Pokemon, because if you nicknamed your Pokemon, they would show up in Pokemon Stadium as a like slightly different color than they would in normal gameplay. Did you notice that too?
I noticed that, but it never really made sense,
Yeah, like I had a Gyarados, and it was like a slightly more purple Gyarados, and I was like, so this was back when like TV, like you had to like adjust the color on some of the TVs. I was like, is the color off? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, like in the mini games, all the Pokemon are nicknamed like in this is Pokemon Stadium 2, because I play this one currently way more than the first one for the mini games. Not trying to segue into them, but like Mr. Mime, like his nickname's like player 1 is like Mimoli, and then like all the other players like they all have just like Mimian, or now I'm just making them up, but like the first one is, I always go like Mimoli. Yeah, they're just like in the Eager Eevee game, one of them's called like Vion. It's just like,
oh my god,
they're all specific to the player, and that makes them unique in the sense that they have to physically be differently colored to be unique to a trainer.
It was an interesting situation, and I don't think in Pokemon Stadium 1 you could import your Pokemon into the mini games. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, the mini games were set.
As great as they were. And so that's basically Pokemon Stadium 1 in a nutshell. Is there anything that I'm missing, or anything else that you think like Pokemon Stadium brought to the table?
The only thing I wanted to say was, I actually, once you beat the Gym Leader Castle, there's a round 2. The whole game kind of changes and gets even more intense, and I never beat that to this day. I never beat the second round, and it's crazy how good the opponent's Pokemon are, and if you read guides and stuff, the Pokemon that you have to use to beat the Pokemon they're using are, it's very specific, and it's a very, very difficult game, and I never beat it.
Yeah, a lot of like the guides that I've seen, it's like, all right, your first turn you want to send out Lickitung and use, Wrap, because they're gonna respond this way, and then turn 2 you want to do the like it's very precise.
Yeah, it's you're right. They haven't made anything really. I mean, there are difficult things, but I remember that was one where,
like, this is some of the toughest Pokemon battling in Pokemon history 20 years ago.
Yeah. Nintendo was just hard then. Like, not saying it's not hard now, but like, this one's for you. Diddy Kong Racing, going back and getting all the coins, like, that's not easy. Like, and that's what we had to do as a kid. Like,
that silver coin challenge, that was something different.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you could beat the game, no problem. But now, like, do you really want to beat it though? Because we could make it. Like, we're smart enough to design the game. We could make it hard for you.
Run it backwards.
Yeah.
Try me.
Just like, oh, all right. And then we tried, and yeah, Diddy Kong Racing actually beat, but Pokemon Stadium, the second round of the Gym Leaders, never did. I probably should try, but I can't do it without a guide. I'm just gonna pick like Blastoise, and he's gonna know like Splash and like Harden. It's just like, all right, why does Wartortle know?
Wartortle knows like Surf and Strength and Thunder for whatever reason.
Yeah, the random moves that they knew.
And then Blastoise knows like Water Gun and Leer
And tackle.
and Tackle, right?
Never understood that.
And Bubble.
Yeah, I never understood why they made the. I don't know. Yeah, weird,
so they
weird
could,
game.
I think it was so they could have the lower evolution Pokemon still be competitive, even though their stats were objectively worse. So their idea of balance was giving them the good moves and then giving Zapdos like Gust. And I was like, this is the worst game ever. These rental Pokemon suck.
Yeah, I never brought my own Pokemon. Well, maybe I did a long time ago, but I wonder if you can bring your own Pokemon in the game and just, like, run house. You know, oh, yeah, I have Mewtwo. Like, round 2 gym leaders, that's easy, you know?
Yeah.
Not sure.
Literally 1 year later, 1 year and 1 month later, Pokemon Stadium 2 comes out. Which, that blew, like, that, looking that up, that's insane to me. And I do think that's why not as many people had Pokemon Stadium 2. Because I think a lot of parents were like, you have a perfectly fine Pokemon Stadium at home that I just got you, so Pokemon Stadium 2 is off the table. But this game came out like hot on the heels of Pokemon Gold Silver coming out.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like the big selling point for Stadium 2, is that it had all the Pokemon from Gold and Silver in it. And a lot of it was more of the same. In fact, it's not even like considered a sequel in Japan. It's just called Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver. But again, the things that you could do with it are a lot of the same stuff you could do in Pokemon Stadium 1, where you could play your Pokemon games on the big screen. You could import your Pokemon for battle. They had a gym leader tower as well. They had one for the Johto League and for the Kanto League. And then they, of course, had the Pokemon Minigames again. And this time they had, I think they had 3 extra. So I think there were 12 Minigames, whereas the first game only had 9. What is your favorite minigame in Stadium 2?
Oh, man. Now, this is a game that I had game night 2 nights ago, and we literally played Pokemon Stadium 2 for the minigames. And
oh, hell yeah.
And my old roommate and I played it almost like we always played video games, and it was always on the table. You know, like, I think Pokemon Stadium 1 is a masterpiece. The minigames are brilliant. And I think the second one, the minigames are even better. And it's so hard. My favorite is Egg Emergency, personally, but there are, like, at least 6 that I could just tell you right now that I'm like, anytime, maybe more, that when they get picked, I'm just like, oh, hell yeah. Like, Eager Eevee, Egg Emergency, the one with Delibird, with that's literally just like the Sushi Go Round, but like a cool variant of that. And,
right. My favorite was Clear Cut Challenge.
That's one of them. Yeah, that's definitely one of them.
And I'm pretty sure this is the game where you could actually transfer your own Pokemon into the minigames.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure you can, because you can use Scizor in Clear Cut Challenge. There are a couple of Pokemon that appear in the minigames that work if you have your Pokemon imported in.
Wow.
Like, you could use Scizor in Clear Cut Challenge. You can use an Ammonite in Tumbling Togepi.
No way. What?
And you can import Pikachu into Pichu's Power Plant.
Wow.
So it sounds like Tony's about to bust out his transfer pack, get a couple of Pokemon, and throw them into the game, because why wouldn't you at this point? Wow. Also, I'd like to formally announce a lawsuit against Beyblade for stealing Topsy Turvy. Which is a mini game where you play as Hitmontop, and you literally have 4 Hitmontops spinning around and trying to knock each other out of the ring, which is literally just what Beyblade is.
The mini games are so phenomenal. Barrier Ball, the Don Fan game, and the Tumbling Togepi, and the update, like the counting Pokemon instead of remembering things. It's kind of the same category to me.
Right.
Gutsy Golbat? Come on, bro.
I think where Stadium 1's minigames, a lot of them relied on, like, either button mashing or hitting a button at a specific time, there's a much larger variance in the minigames in Pokemon Stadium 2. So there's just so much more you could do. Plus, you can import your own Pokemon, which is freaking awesome.
I can't believe that. I can't believe I didn't know that either. You know, I've been playing Mario Kart 64 my whole life. My whole life, I take pride in that game, saying, like, I at one point thought I could get a world record, like, lap or 3-lap in that, but I obviously can't go anywhere near that. I thought wrong.
Yeah, those people aren't human.
Yeah, I thought I was that level, and I think everyone thinks they're the best, but I always will say that I'm pretty nice at Mario Kart, even though I don't like to say that about anything. But with that being said, I didn't even know you could just, like, if you're at a dead stop, you could just tap A 3 times and, like, accelerate really quick. I didn't even know that. My whole life, up until, like, a year or two ago, I was like, wow.
I was today years old when I found that out. Wow. That's insane.
You can just do that. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. One last thing on the Stadium games, by the way.
Yeah.
The Pokemon Stadium games kind of are famous for being, like, somewhat crudely animated. However, a bunch of Pokemon had, like, maybe 4 or 5 different, like, attack animations, a handful of, like, I just got hit animations. And it's something that Pokemon, like, really, like, I thought they did a really good job with it in the first couple of games. And even so in the next games we're going to be talking about. But over the last 15 years or so, they've really kind of lost it. Where, like, these Pokemon having, like, individualized animations, you just don't see it as much.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if a Pokemon used a punch attack, even if it, like, punching wasn't their main thing, like, you'd see them throw an arm. And you just don't see that very often in Pokemon anymore. I could get it. There's 900 Pokemon now. A little easier with only 150. Yeah. But listen, you set precedent, and that's why people are mad.
You're 100% right. Hashtag 900.
Hashtag 900.
But they did set a precedent. You're right.
They did set precedent, and I think that's why people are salty.
Yeah, it's hard to retract on something that good.
But luckily, they kept the good times rolling with the GameCube era of the Pokemon Stadium franchise, which really was kind of an evolution of the franchise because Pokemon Coliseum kind of changed the game for Pokemon. Pokemon Coliseum is a game that came out in 2004 for the GameCube. So this is almost strictly a single-player game. But it took the concept of Pokemon Stadium where you're battling in 3D on the big screen, and it turned it into a story mode, which was absolutely awesome. Did you play Pokemon Coliseum? Was that in your wheelhouse there growing up?
You know, when I was younger, I pre-ordered it, and I got the bonus disc with Jirachi, and then I never bought the game, so I didn't play it until years later. Probably once the Wii U was out, I want to say, and I was like, I remember I think I pre-ordered it, but I rented it from Blockbuster, and I was like, this feels like more badass, you know what I mean? You're just like this, like, kind of different looking character, you know? You're just like older. You're like, oh man, this is like cool, you know? You're in a different world. It's just like there's like bad stuff happening, but it's not like, you know, Team Rocket. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah, it just felt like I was like, ooh,
I mean, the game literally I'm pretty sure the game opens up with your character just like fleeing a giant building exploding while you're on like a one-wheeled motorcycle ripping through the desert.
Maybe that had something to do with it too.
And that's big vibe shifts from what Pokemon normally is.
Oh yeah, big shifts.
But this game, so what's cool about this game is that it was a single player campaign. You fought exclusively in double battles, which I thought was like really interesting and really made you like think a little bit as a trainer. But more importantly, your Pokemon that you started off with were Espeon and Umbreon, which, like, what a killer combo right there. They're like, all right, take the 2 best Eevee evolutions at the time and just go to town on everybody with them.
Oh yeah.
and it was cool. There were no wild Pokemon encounters in this game, but the bad guys, Team Snag'em, had Pokemon that you could liberate from them by stealing, but it's okay to steal their Pokemon because they're already stolen Pokemon, I guess. And instead of returning them to the trainers that they were stolen from, you just keep them for yourself.
Go, Pikachu. Excuse me, sir. Can you show me the provenance of that Pikachu? It's mine.
I'll battle you to prove it.
You stole it, didn't you? You stole that little guy, didn't you?
Yeah, but you lost the Pokemon battle, so my opinion's correct.
And that's how history was written.
But this game is famous for not only having just the next generation of 3D Pokemon battles, but also had some pretty iconic characters, and the soundtrack was really, really good. A standout being the character Mirror B. He's a tall, lanky dude with a gigantic Pokeball colored afro. And his theme in the game is this disco jam, which is just incredibly good. They basically modeled him. He's supposed to be modeled after Michael Jackson. He has one glove, and he's just a moonwalking super pop star. But apparently he's a shady boss in a underworld situation. Which is normal.
It sounded so cool until that.
This game had a follow-up a year and a half later. Threw the whole naming convention of Pokemon games out the window because I was I still to this day do not know what it means. But the game is called Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness. Still have no idea what the XD stands for. I don't know if they're we're laughing because that's how people talked back then. If you typed an X and a D next to each other, that's a laughing face. So it's Pokemon LMAO, Gale of Darkness. Now, this is one game that I didn't play at launch growing up. I don't know why I didn't. I think it was the edgy Lugia on the cover. But it was basically a direct sequel to Pokemon Coliseum. A lot of the same locations are in the game. There's the same thing. You fight double battles, and the same evil team, Cypher, is still roaming around. It was kind of just a follow-up. It didn't really add too much in my opinion. Had a couple of Gen 4 Pokemon, which was kind of cool at the time. But yeah, no, you had a couple of Pokemon that you could transfer into your games, again, from this game. And I think that was the big sell, is that you could transfer. It may have been the only way you could get Lugia and the legendary birds into Gen 3 at the time. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
And I think that's what this game was used for most, for collectors.
It's the same thing with Coliseum. I didn't play it until well after I played Coliseum, which was well after Coliseum came out. I played a little bit of it, and then I was just all right, yeah, I think I'm good. It didn't really grab me, I also think I have less patience for a game that doesn't absolutely blow me away right out of the water, which is not a good habit to have. But
I think the biggest problem that Pokemon Coliseum had was that it didn't really have a way that you and a friend could battle each other in 3D.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome that they put a fully fleshed single player experience onto the GameCube, but I think at least with XD, what they should have done was brought in a way where you could fight your friends, and then maybe if they threw in some Minigames, I don't know. Hey, call me crazy, but the Minigames were half of the battle in Pokemon Stadium and 2, whereas Coliseum, it's we're just double battling. The end. That's, if you don't like it, go play Pokemon Stadium.
The year is 2021, and I play way more Stadium than I do Coliseum or Gale of Darkness.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and the replay value is so much higher on those earlier games as well.
Yeah, it really is. Really is.
I think this is going to bring us into the last game in this, I'm going to say in this series. Mm-hmm. I would say Stadium, Coliseum, and now Pokemon Battle Revolution all kind of fit under the same, even though the games are sometimes wildly different, they all kind of fall under the same energy overall. Now, Pokemon Battle Revolution came out for the Wii. This is the Gen 4 3D Pokemon game. I don't know if Nintendo was like, all right, enough is enough, but this is the last time a 3D Pokemon game came out for a console until literally Gen 8. So it took an extra, 12 years before another 3D Pokemon game would come out that you would be able to battle Pokemon in. But this game overcorrected from Pokemon Coliseum, and instead of like having anything really exciting going on, this game was just about fighting. This was a game that you could import your Pokemon. You could transfer Pokemon from Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, or Soul Silver. You could battle Pokemon, but the whole thing with the game is that it is exclusively battling. There are a handful of Pokemon that you can, again, collect from this game, which is pretty cool, including a surfing Pikachu. Otherwise, it's just battling. There is a set of Colosseums in the game where like each Coliseum has its own type of battle, and in order to beat the game, you beat each Coliseum, which is a little confusing because Pokemon Coliseum has nothing to do with Coliseum battles. So have you played Battle Revolution?
I remember when I was younger, my grandma and I went to get it for me because I had to have it. I was like, I can't believe this is coming out for the Wii. It's like another Pokemon Stadium. This is going to be insane. And I got it, and I played it, and I liked it a lot. And I got the Magmortar and Electivire, and that was like it. And that was when it came out, and I don't remember anything about it. And it's been a long time since I've played it. But when it came out, I played it a lot. I remember getting pretty mad, actually, because it had that same feeling of Pokemon Stadium a little bit, where it was a little difficult towards the end. But I still managed.
I wonder if, like, Pokemon was getting to the point, and now we're talking about Pokemon games on the DS, where people were just, like, totally accepting of the fact that you could just battle each other on the DS. Did the DS have Wi-Fi? I'm trying to remember if you...
I think so, yeah.
So I think you could just Wi-Fi battle people by the time this game came out, and I think that's why people didn't play it as much. People were just content playing the game on the DS.
Yeah.
I think, because the game's good. Battle Revolution's good. Like, the mechanics are sound, the animations are fine. I just feel like the game didn't offer anything except for battling. We're getting at the age of the internet where, you're already able to battle your friends online, and even if you weren't doing it via DS, people were using Smogon or something at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember playing it with Ronnie growing up, and just like we played it for a week maybe, and we were like, all right, well, we're done. You want to play like a fun game?
Ooh, and for those of you who don't know, Ronnie is someone that we grew up with.
But like, yeah, like I don't know what it was. I mean, I know what was missing. It was the Minigames.
Oh, of course, that's what's always missing, huh?
Like, there's a reason people love Stadium and Stadium 2 more than they love any other game. It's the Minigames.
It's insane how much weight those mini games hold in that, like Mario Party. Yeah, I like Mario Party. Why do I play the mini games? Pokemon Stadium, yeah, the game is fun, but I like the mini games the most. It's just like crazy how much those could just all be games by themselves. Look at mobile games that come out now, like it's crazy how those were just like throw-ins. They didn't need, I guess technically they did have to make them, because look at how little we play any of these games now, like Battle Revolution or the GameCube games, because it's like they didn't make them, but the fact that those games were part of Stadium 1 and 2, it's just, yeah.
Like, literally, there's a whole mobile game right now around Magikarp Splash from Pokemon Stadium. Weirdly enough, I put like probably 15 hours into that mobile game.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
It's a Pokemon Stadium game, and that was a really fun game.
Exactly. And of course I wanted my Magikarp to jump over a mountain. Come on. It's like every boy's dream.
I put a lot of time into Flappy Bird, so I understand the dream. You were the first person. I was hanging out with you actually years ago, and I said I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna try to get 500. And I went home, and I poop you not, and I called you afterwards because I remember you couldn't stop laughing. Yeah. I got 1,062.
I think it's because like I also liked Flappy Bird, but I was like nowhere in your universe of that game. Like I think my high score was like 150 ever. In my opinion, is nothing to sneeze at.
It's good. Like it's good.
It's
really
good. It's good. But 1,000? That's insane. Like the concentration and dedication to get a score like that.
Thank goodness nobody called me when I was at like 800. You know, just like, oh come on. You know, potential spam call from Idaho.
That would have been the worst. So that's all of the Pokemon Stadium games, really. Do you have any like final words for the Pokemon Stadium games?
I had a really good Pokemon Go Fest. No, it's all about mini games, baby. Mini games are the games. You smell me? Mini games are the main games. You smell me? That's.
20 years later, mini games are the main game. Like if your friend wants to fire up Pokemon Stadium, it's to play the mini games.
Of course.
And if you have an opportunity to do so, you gotta just play them. They're so much fun.
They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing.
They give Mario Party a run for their money.
Oh yeah, definitely. Some of those games are definitely better than Mario Party games, but there are
for sure.
But there are bad Mario Party games, and there are actually a couple bad Pokemon Stadium mini games too. What's your least favorite from 1 and 2?
My least favorite from 1, I think my least favorite from 1 is probably Drowsy.
Really? I really like that one.
Because I feel like towards the end it just gets kind of random. Like, because I'm pretty good at hitting A on time, but like Pikachu and Voltorb is pretty trash too.
That's definitely my worst. But the Drowsy one, at one point I got pretty nice at that game actually, but then I, lost it after a few years of not playing it.
Mm-hmm.
But Stadium 2 also has the same Voltorb Pikachu game, except now
Pichu's
you're Pichu.
Power Plant.
Yeah, and that game is pretty bad, but not including that one. Do you have another least favorite? This time from Stadium 2?
What was Furret's Frolic all about?
That's definitely the worst one.
I totally forgot. Apparently you could import Girafarig into that one too.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
But I do not remember that minigame at all.
Basically, alright, let me try to do this under 30 seconds. Go. Basically, take like a tic-tac-toe board, but the four corners aren't, they're just like...
Is this Hungry Hungry Hippos?
It's basically, it's Hungry, yeah. Boom, nailed it. Clap! Clip that. It's Hungry Hungry Hippos.
I remember that one. I feel like a lot of it like felt random because like sometimes the ball would just roll your way or sometimes it wouldn't.
I am not very religious, but if hell exists, it is that game.
I believe it.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Oh, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Don't you worry.
Unless it's just one of those things that it's just like, I don't get it. I don't understand. It's just like, this game sucks, but it's actually really good. Almost like the Drowsy game. Just kidding. But like, once you just understand stupid mechanics, things start to get better. And I think that's one of those games where I'm like, I've noticed like if the ball's coming from behind you, you have to go at a different time than if it's coming. I don't even know if you could do anything like if it's not coming from behind you. If someone like... it's like a weird rock, paper, scissors. I just can't stand that game at all. I hate that game. The Pichu one in Stadium 2, it's not that much fun, but I'd rather play that.
I think that's really about it for the Stadium games. Towards the end of each episode, we like to talk about some of the games that we've been playing. Tony, what have you been playing this week?
It was Go Fest this weekend, as you guys know by now. And then, what did we play on game night? We played Super Monkey Ball 2 with Monkey Target. Great game.
Nice.
Now we're talking mini games again, taking over the show of a full game. Super Smash Bros. Melee. Actually played a little bit of Sonic Riders. It didn't go. We played that for a little bit. Didn't go over too well, but that's another game where you need to learn very interesting mechanics. But I think that's a game I may pick back up again. And I also have been wanting to go through Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube. I'm in a very collectible and interesting GameCube phase of my life right now.
I feel like we could spend an entire episode talking about Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
I would love to do that.
Quick question, in Melee, who's your main?
Fox.
I mean, fair enough.
But
dear whore. Sorry, I had something in my throat.
What's wrong with your throat?
It sounded like I called you a tear whore, but it was really just me sneezing.
That's funny that you say that, because I didn't know you sneezed that much. You never sneeze on any other podcast. But it's also funny you say that because I love using different characters, and if I name off the ones that I like to use, I'm still considered something that you would say while having some sort of reaction.
Tony's like, I like to play exclusively as Fox, Peach, and Jigglypuff.
Peach is Melee could be its own episode if we're talking about that, but definitely Fox, Marth, Jigglypuff. I used to like Falco a lot. I like Pikachu a lot too, actually, even though I'm horrible. But I could go between Fox and Marth.
I usually alternate between top tier Ganondorf and who's the other guy? Top tier Roy. Yeah, those are my two favorite fighters.
Dude, I got destroyed one time I got 4-stocked like recently, and I'm the best at Melee I've ever been in my whole life. I got 4-stocked like crazy by a Ganondorf player online.
No kidding.
I couldn't touch him. I was a little baby in his hands, bro. I couldn't touch him. I'll always say Melee's that game that, man, I'll never get as good as those people. I'm okay in like a party setting, and I know some advanced, tech and all the, all that stuff. But like, no, I can't keep up with the really good players. It's not even close.
Have you ever played a game where you're stuck in this like really awkward spot in your talent level where you're just like better than casuals to the point where it's like not fun to play with casuals? But, like, anybody who's, like, even 1% better than you pushes your shit in every time, so you can only play by yourself.
Yeah, I've felt that before, yeah.
That's how I feel about some Smash Brothers games. It's like, people who play it casually, like, I'm usually, top 2 in the room. If anybody's like, yeah, I've been to one tournament, they're just like, 0 to death you every time. Let's go. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I need a break. Definitely today I've been feeling it too the past couple days with like the mood I've been in and the games I've been playing and how they're affecting my mood. I think I need to just take a break from some competitive games that I always Pokemon Go battle like constantly every day. I'm getting worse somehow, and I'm losing Yu-Gi-Oh matches. Normally I had a good streak going of online on Dueling Book, and I'm like, you know what, I think this is gonna be the week where like I actually play like Thousand Year Door or Pokemon Stadium like the second, even though that's gonna get very aggravating, I'm sure, but I need something light. This week. I
mean, there's a couple other games that I've been playing myself.
Oh, what have you been playing?
I know we talked last week about the blindfolded Super Mario 64 speedrun. It did inspire me to just play through some Super Mario 64. So I got about like 35 stars. Have you ever heard of this game Among Us?
I've heard of that game, yeah.
So there's a game that came out after Among Us, and it's like an Among Us clone. It's called Goose Goose Duck. There's a little more customization to the games that you can add in it. You can play with up to 16 players. So I was playing a little bit of that, which was kind of fun. Like that kind of game normally isn't for me, but like for whatever reason, like I really like the people I was playing with or whoever, like really just it ended up being a good time. And then the last game that I've started playing is The Legend of Zelda: The Skyward Sword. So I played the first Skyward Sword for the Wii when it came out. I knew it was a slog, and I was like, ugh. They like cut a bunch of the fat out, and the story gets going pretty quickly now. I'm actually loving this. Plus, there's no motion controls if you don't want them.
Wow, that sounds good.
A tip of the hat to these quality of life changes to Skyward Sword.
Wow. Segway. A tip of the hat for the guardians that live inside of Pokemon Go for giving me all the shinies that you give me.
Thanks, Guardians of Pokemon Go.
Appreciate y'all.
I don't really have any other tips of the hat, but I do have a bunch of wags of the finger.
Ooh, start wagging, boy. Start wagging, boy.
We're going to start with the thing we already talked about, Pokemon Unite. Just the fact that they have so many microtransactions and the game is essentially pay to win. I think that's really scummy, especially in a Pokemon game.
That's pretty dirty. Yeah, it's dark to do that in a Pokemon game.
Like, you can, like, purchase, like, power-ups that just make you better and faster and stronger, too. If, like, you can compete online, but you know, like, some dude who just, like, shelled out $20 is just gonna push your pooper in. Like, what? Why even bother?
No, let me ask this. Can you obtain those bonuses, those buffs, without paying? It just may take longer, or do you have to pay to get them? They're, like, exclusive to USD or, like, yen.
I want to say it's the second thing, where, like, you can get them, but it takes, like, a lot of time and effort to get them.
Well, if you could still get them, but it takes longer, that's fine. Because if you're expediting stuff, that's just a typical BS, like, you know, weird, scummy move of micropayment games. But if you could still enjoy the game without having to purchase and just be a free-to-play player, then that's fine. Just gonna take
The other
you a
problem
little bit
is
longer.
the other problem is there are Pokemon that are stuck behind paywalls, and there absolutely is a tier list already for this game.
Jeez Louise, I didn't even know it came out, and it's already. I'm gonna play it when we're done with this podcast.
I'm sure.
all this down talk about it.
You'll have to give me an update next week.
I will. Yeah, that's how we'll open up.
Hopefully, it's a good game. Honestly, like, the game literally just came out, so a lot of this is speculative too.
Yeah, yeah. I'll let you know. I'll let everyone
Yeah.
know next week.
Another wag of the finger. Smart TVs. You're supposed to be smart. Why smart TV so slow? I don't get it. I get frustrated every time I try to move around a smart TV. What? I'm just trying to hit Netflix and it's like, hold on, waiting. Hold on. Gotta load up 6 advertisements on the main screen first.
Oh, preach. I couldn't agree more. I feel all those things. I just got my first smart TV like a month or two ago, and I literally feel all of those things. And the volume is like messed up when we play certain apps like Hulu and stuff. Like,
yeah, Hulu's like quiet. And like the freaking, it's like the background audio is so much louder than like the people talking, so you can't hear what people are saying half of the time. Do they still make dumb TVs?
If you're gonna play Pokemon Stadium, then yeah, get yourself a Trinitron Wega, best big box TV you could get for retro games, and they don't make them anymore. So no, so you gotta go find one.
Just go to your local pawn shop or Goodwill and cross your fingers.
Dude, not anymore. Yeah, forget it now. Can't even get a pack of Pokemon cards. Well, now you kind of can, but it's bad out there. It's bad trying to find good stuff. But
yeah.
There's so many good things that it's hard for everyone to keep track, even with their smart devices. They can't sit there all day and look up every individual Game Boy Advance or DS game. So you go to the store. Wow, this game's marked pretty low. Boom, it's actually a good deal. You never know. The deals are out there, folks, if you're willing to hunt and educate yourselves for them.
Tip of the hat for people who are, trying in this world, Wag of the finger to anybody involved in Space Jam 2.
Even Lieber?
Oh, listen, LeBron may be one of the most egregious problems with Space Jam 2. Listen, I love LeBron James, the basketball superstar. I hate LeBron James, the actor, and just wish nothing but mild inconveniences for the rest of his acting days. Good God. Space Jam 2 was terrible. Space Jam 1 was like, it was fun, but like not a great movie, but like you kind of like got what you were getting. Space Jam 2 sucked. It was the most boring 2-hour movie I could ever watch. It was a snoozer.
So you liked it?
Yeah, it was great. 10 out of 10. Like, if you haven't watched it already, do not pay money to watch it. If you already have HBO Go and you want to, like, test the waters, I guess go for it. Just know it's going to be 2 hours of, like, damn, that really just happened to me, huh?
2 things before you go on. One, it looks terrible. And I'm not much of a Bugs Bunny kind of guy anyway. And I remember Space Jam is legendary. I'm like, yeah, Space Jam, but I never watch it now, even though I give it all this praise. And this one came out, and I'm like, there's like, I like Lieber, but there's like nothing really pulling me to see a movie like this at all. It has like very little appeal to me. But let me ask you this, because
Yeah.
hearing that you hated it that much, but knowing that you still sat through it anyway, did you see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie that recently came out?
I liked the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
No further questions, no further questions, Your Honor.
Listen, Sonic the Hedgehog was not a good movie, but I had fun watching it at times.
For like the 7 minutes of it that I could put up with, I thought it was pretty bad. And then I turned it off. I put it on. I said, this isn't going to be like this, is it? And then it was. Then I said, I'm not doing this. I'm not. And I'm sure, I'm a big Jim Carrey fan, so I'm sure he did a fantastic part of whatever they had to do.
He did a solid Robotnik. I ain't going to lie.
I'm sure it was great, but I was like...
Jim Carrey elevates anything he does.
Exactly. And I'm a big plot guy, and like it was... don't get me started. That was literally just poo.
Yeah,
just, like,
so
poo.
you would absolutely be miserable watching Space Jam 2.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. That's how you describe it. And that's what made me think of the Sonic movie. But I don't know. I'm getting some mixed signals from you.
I didn't hate it. I don't know what it was. Maybe, listen, I just went to ramen for lunch like right before seeing the movie. I had a happy ramen belly. Maybe that influenced. Maybe I was like, you know what, Detective Pikachu wasn't that bad, so... I
thought that was great. I thought it was, as a Pokemon fan, I thought it was really well done.
I did too. So I kind of went in with like, all right, like let's not beat the crap out of this movie before we give it a chance. And I watched it in theaters, so it's like, you know, kind of had to sit through it, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah, I caught it for free on Hulu like 2 months ago. Yeah, it didn't, I don't know. I almost saw it when it came out, but very happy I didn't, and I will add my own wag of the finger to today's episode for your mixed signals between these movies that sound very similar, but your ratings towards them, or for them, or with them.
So you're giving a wag of the finger to me for having weird taste in movies.
To you, yeah. And I'm a little bit of a hypocrite with stuff like that, but we don't have to talk about that because this is my wag of the finger. But anyway... Wagging the finger to my partner in crime on the Games of Our Lives podcast, Bill.
I guess we're going to finish up with recommendations. And I kind of talked about it a little bit already with tipping of the hat and stuff. But I would, if you own a Switch, recommend Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. It's not as fully fleshed out as Breath of the Wild. The game, you have to remember, came out before Breath of the Wild. It's a beautiful... like aesthetically beautiful game, and it has some of the better dungeons in 3D Zelda history, so I recommend it. I think it's worth picking up. Good luck getting the amiibo if you want that. Otherwise, yeah, no, it's a good game.
I actually wanted the Joy-Cons from that game, and I noticed I'm pretty sure they're like $80 like a normal pair of Joy-Cons are. But on eBay, they're only like $105, $110 right now from certain sellers. And I thought they were going to be like $160. I think at one point they were like $140, $150. So, yeah, if you're trying to cop a pair for not too much, and I don't know why anyone's selling them for that, because if they're buying them for $80, they're making very little after fees. But, yeah, if you want a pair of Joy-Cons, I would say now is a good time to get them. And my recommendation, even though we talked about this and I feel like you wouldn't recommend it, Inside... the Bo Burnham special that just came out on Netflix is unbelievable. When I saw I was like, he's probably my favorite comedian. And then I saw Make Happy, and I was like, wow, he's still absolutely incredible. And then I saw that he said his favorite comedian was Hans Taven, and I looked him up, and he's absolutely incredible. And then this comes out, and I'm like... oh man, I just might talk about how good this is during a game podcast, even though it's not even a game. It's so good, and he just says what he wants, and he just, if you're like born in the 90s, like he just gets it. He's just hip, and he just knows, like he can completely put our entire life into like, all of our feelings and encapsulate them into one like hour and a half special. He's the man. And
I mean, it's extremely smartly written, and he's super clever with the words that he chooses and like the actions that he does during everything. Like, he's always had that knack. This special, coming off the heels of the COVID pandemic, it may for some people open up wounds that haven't healed quite yet, but I'd say it's still worth watching.
It's pretty dark at times. It's very dark at times, I will say that.
So just a little warning, but it is an incredibly good special, even though it turned me into a sad boy for an evening.
I remember you told me that. I was like, oh man, it really got him. But I could see why it is, yeah, it'll do that. Those songs have been stuck in my head, and I had to watch the special like halfway through again, and for the first time in my life, the music I've been listening to hasn't been from an artist. Well, I guess technically he's an artist, but from like a comedian. I can't believe I'm on my music app listening to those songs, but they're just, the music itself is so good, and yeah, he's the man.
What's your favorite song from Inside?
It's between Sexting and FaceTime with my mom, parentheses, tonight, but I also like That's How the World Works. Those are my top three.
Is That's How the World Works? Is that the one with the sock puppet?
That is the one with the sock puppet, yeah.
Okay. I love the musical progression in Welcome to the Internet, and I think that's kind of like a fan favorite that you see in a lot of like favorite song lists. I did like the visuals of White Woman Instagram, but the song got kind of boring quick.
You think so? I thought, yeah, the visuals are great. I like that song. Yeah, that's probably number 4 for me.
And I liked his intro song too. I forget what it's called, but
I think it's called Comedy, and then Content, I think, are the first 2 songs. I may have that backwards.
That intro is like pretty good. Like, Daddy made some content for you.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's called Content. Yeah. And then the second one's Comedy. What the heck do I know, huh?
Well, you know what, guys?
Put me on blast. Put me on blast for everyone, man. Come on, now we got to start over again. This whole episode.
Again? This is our 4th take already. Yeah. So I think that might be it for the episode. Tony, do you have anything else to add before we sign off?
No.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Tony, for chit-chatting today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you want to see more of us, you can follow our Twitter at GamesOfOurPod. If you want to see more of Tony, you can follow him on Instagram at ThePokerRapper. And if you want to see more of me, you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch at BillTheFajita. We love you. Tony?
Bye. Bye.
No, it's been a pleasure, as always. Thanks so much for doing this with me. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And
Bye. Bye.